What's up, everybody? Yogi Chris here, IMC Nation Captain, Las Vegas, IMC Base One. That's where I'm streaming to you from. Good to have you. This is Inside IMC. So I'm talking about what it's like here, what we do, why all these clips of AZD, and what's going on, which is now known as Spider. So got to rebrand everything. So what was formerly AZD is now Spider. That's how you refer to him. What's up, YTB, Ak, Boter, Boss Man. Some of you guys I remember from messaging with you. So a whole tidal wave of guys are discovering AZD in the last 2 weeks or so. And so there's the structure here to receive that and the model of how we've done that in the past. During COVID, there was a wave of guys that had their attention on AZD at the time, YouTube phenom in the field of seduction and relationships and pickup and game. That's how his world fame and world's greatest status was achieved, clearly was in that realm. And a lot of guys, they just kind of put it on the back burner until COVID happened. Then they didn't know what to do with their time. They were maybe getting some government money. And a lot of them, especially if you lived with a woman, a lot of them went through some real big, what's up, dog? Oh, some real big heartbreaks and breakups and bullshit. Because if it was already a mistake to live with your woman, that got amplified as a mistake during COVID because you got nowhere else to go. There was no other social things happening. And you got on each other's nerves. AZD Spider tells a story of, or he has told a story of like a king that found his wife was cheating on him with one of the generals or whatever. Instead of punishing them, he just like chained them to a pole for 30 days and made them be around each other for 30 days, couldn't escape from each other. And they hated each other. At the end, he just cut the thing and they just walked off and they were vanquished, but they didn't even want to be together anymore. They lost everything over some impulsive romance that wasn't even worth it because the grass is greener on the other side kind of bullshit, just distractions and noise and low values. So what am I saying here? So during COVID, there was a whole flood of guys, and how that got structured emerged what was known as the beast process. So daily discipline, morning, and then it evolved into just, it already was, but how it was given to the student body was a morning process, how AZD at the time did it. We're going to get these tense right, meaning like past tense, present tense, how AZD did it, and then how he used his imagination and alchemy and stoicism to transform his patterns. He already had multiple relationships in the pushes and pulls and tugs of life. He has a lot going on, a lot behind the scenes, a lot of communication, a lot of people that count on him. And breaking character or not mismanaging yourself has a wake of damage when you have power, prestige, and responsibility. So that was his process. Then he took on the responsibility of a large student body, all the relationships, everything else he had going on. The process that he taught became much more than a morning process. It was a full day thing. There was a nighttime element. He was recommending different sources of this book, that author, this meditation, that. And he wasn't random scattershot, all these recommendations. It was very surgical on how he did it. And yet there was freedom of imagination and creativity within it. So it wasn't like 30 burpees, 14 pull-ups, 3 sets to failure. That's not what it was at all. You would get so lost and trapped if you thought it was that. And we did many times and still do just get lost and trapped all the time. Man, it's amazing the momentum of thoughts, systems of thinking, perspectives, self-image. You learn the greatest teachings and you feel enlightened. And within an hour, you're already distorted in your own noise and bullshit because there's habits and patterns and people around you that don't communicate properly with you. So they trigger other kinds of thoughts and characters. And you need self-mastery. And under what pressure? Because you have self-mastery under a little load versus a big load versus Atlas, the whole world on you, the whole galaxy. Like pressure reveals character, how Spider teaches it that is the fountain of youth. That's the, what is it? The chalice, what do they do in Indiana Jones? Jesus is, what the fuck? The Holy Grail kind of thing. That how to use pressure to reveal character and then change character to align with the natural forces that be. That's where he's so good at the game. The natural forces, you got to see it in field. The natural forces back and forth, men and men, women, men, like the whole thing, field of game. He has made his self maneuver through it by forming a character that uses every source, every energy, as a deflection or as a response or as an absorption, or it'd be very similar to martial arts. I mean, if they lean in, what do you do? If they lean back, there's a lot of options, but it's way more than that because it's not like a list of options. It's over time, it's hard to convey. Let's say if I've been out with them 500 times, 4 hours each time, that's 2,000 hours of somebody inspecting your game. I'm not really inspecting him like that, but like I'm around, I'm observing. He's so much greater than me in the game that as I observe, you can't help but get better. It's like you hang out with somebody cooler than you get cooler. They're funnier than you get funnier. They're more fit than you get fitter. You hang around with a better player, you become better with women. And so I made it my business literally to be around as close for as long as I could and have, and whatever shall continue to be. And as a reference, because bro, just look up any martial arts story, master and student, whatever. That's, I know I've upgraded many things from being a PhD and being given a whole career and lifestyle, being in the yoga industry, in the future that I could create, living, traveling where I want to be, all of the luxury resort spots, all of the women that come through that. The kind of character that I would be in that industry would be like all of the AZD IMC dropouts that went and tried to make something of themselves. A few of them made something of themselves in economics, in their niche, in whatever, because they're just copying material and they become supposedly we know they're the mimic, but they're the AZD of their industry, the spider of their industry. And it's just mimicry. And it'll collapse on them. You'll see. It'll be a huge fall. It would be like Andrew Tate, but even a much smaller version. If Tate was making 10 million a week or a million a week or something, that guy's making 10,000 a week, which is nice. Nice, bro. Good job. But all that reputation is going to catch up. I'm thinking of Kyle F specifically. Man, I can't wait for that day. It's going to catch up to him because, and you'll see, it'll be like just like Julian and all the RSD guys and everything. They'll pivot to spiritual development or self-development or communication, public speaking, because they can't hang in the game. The reality is they're misleading guys, and the repercussions of that 1 month later, 1 year later, 2, 3, 5 years later of a student learning from you for 5 years, but then you really fucked up his life. Not the way AZD's dropouts say. AZD's dropouts just couldn't keep up as he raised his price. And then they got really bitter about it, became haters, and did a bunch of unethical shit. But that's all it basically did. It's just raised price on them. So that could happen to anybody. But somebody who leaves because you ruin their life with game. The dropouts that from IMC, they drop out after they get a bitch. They get a finer bitch than they ever got before, and then they have money problems and won't want to sign up. So this is different. It sounds like the results worked. And then he demanded more because, man, the curses that are about to happen, you can only imagine, like, I'm not in his position, but I can imagine, I'm close, that in so many ways that are hard to see as an outsider, there are repercussions to teaching guys game. You as the teacher teach guys game the same way that you have game. You go to the same street or the same venue and you spit your game night after night, week after week, whatever. You're going to build a reputation, positive or most likely negative, where you'll have to go to a new environment, whatever. Or if somehow you could manage to keep the same environment for a long time, and it wasn't just, it was always brand new people that never knew you, like you were in an airport or something. And you would have to manage, and you would understand there's reputation, there's cause effect, there's downstream effects that might be a week later, a month later, a year later of something you said or did to somebody in a positive or negative way that boomerangs on you. Well, that must be magnified when you teach guys game, and then they're in the same environment as you also. Not only do you have your own boomerangs happening, positive and negative, there's positive boomerangs that are dope. Around AZD, it's dope. And we all get glimpses of it probably in our life if we're at least aware enough to recognize it. But how much are we aware of the negative boomerangs that we are creating on ourselves by how we have communicated and continue to, in the degree of that we have blind spots of our grammar, tonality? Bro, I see it all the time. That's what happened with Puglia's correction last night, and it made us all super self-aware. The eye communication triggered the conflict. It was just in the eye look. And the subtle degree of self-mastery that's needed to fly a rocket ship. Like, what is two girlfriends that are super fine that they could get any man? What does it mean to take responsibility for that, those two nervous systems and their experience through life and what they have available to them, and how are you going to feel good about what opportunities you take from them to give them the opportunity to be in with you? Do you feel good about that exchange? Hope so. That's where it comes down to with the game. So the guys that learned from AZD that got a girl out of their league, their exchange was out with that genetic body. And AZD's responsible for the karma of who he teaches game to and what they do with it. He could say, I'm an entertainer and this and that. He is. And that's absolves a lot of the responsibility. But at the end of the day, if you give a kid a gun and you tell him, but like, what are you going to do? You give an adult a gun and he does something. What are you going to do? You gave him the gun. Like, so if you teach somebody game, that's why I kick students out. Also, if they're fucking really bad, really perverted, weird, like just. So being in Vegas, 33 guys moved here, plus 7 or so after the initial wave. 40 guys tried to live here. Now there's like 7, I think, that live in base 1. And you know why? What happened? Some guys never even got off the jump. They barely got to the start line. And then they like tripped as the gun went off and they tripped as they started. And they never got up. They got so discouraged that they were behind when they started. That'd be like Chip, Luna, or some of those other guys used to be around. That's what happened. They got tripped up when they got here, had no idea about, oh, I have to have a job? Oh, I have to pay dues to be around AZD? So they fell in debt right away, never got ahead. Chip went out one time when he moved here. Right when he got here, Spider gave him, AZD at the time, gave him a night free out. Come out. It blew his mind, gave great testimony, strong guy. AZD really liked him. And that's all she wrote. Then he lived in the garage for 3 months, just kept going into debt, showing up to trainings, but never going out, blah, blah, blah. Like, bro, I told you exactly what it was going to be when you got here. You didn't get a job. You insisted on doing something and then not doing it. Build some kind of auto, whatever. I mean, that's one of many stories. That's what the stories are. Same thing happened to Luna. Then there was the next echelon of guys that thought, well, if I just get to Vegas, AZD will take care of me. And those are the guys that they came around a little bit. They, whatever. That'd be like Josue, Alex Palacio. They went in field a couple times. They went to the casino lounge, did the round table talk. Palacio like this and that. Transferred his work here, paid for some stuff while he was here, didn't stabilize in that, didn't prioritize going into field, and steadily isolated himself, just like Josue, just like a whole bunch of guys that would fit in that category. Compression again, further compression. Simultaneous with that would be some dropouts that had some big problems. Usually, we're limited in what we know, but it seems to be the woman. Chris Lopez. Alex Cervantes, maybe something else, and I don't mean to just like name drop people, but we got Cali Pack on, and some people know these guys. So it was a female control of the man that got in his ear and started talking to him about, I'm sure Cali Pack has some reality on, like, let's say a girl thinks she has something to tell you about game, who you're going to learn from, what's acceptable to learn, what's okay, what's not okay. It's okay to approach a girl like this or that or whatever. At some point, that obstacle maybe gets overcome. Some guys don't make it over that obstacle. I think that's what it was. It was simply that. You can't learn from AZD. That'd be Chris Lopez. Powerhouse just had a power trip. And maybe AZD, he's admitted at the time that he had a power trip too in the fucking text messages. But there is a hierarchy. And so who's wrong? At the end of the day, who misses out the most? Who has more to lose? And, nobody's here. The haters might say idolization and worship or whatever. Nobody's here idolizing, worshiping AZD Spider. He's a man that's evolving, and he's very far evolved. Very far evolved. Like, I don't know that there's a second place. He's on his own lineage. But a human that's evolved. His mind, everything is hard to measure, hard to put into language that of like, how do we measure that? He's from year 3030? I don't know. Like, what do we say about it? He's a hybrid alien. He's got, like, those work. This is a public broadcast. So, but I can say for certain he's a highly evolved human being. And the subject that he's chosen or that's chosen him to master is something that a lot of guys really care a lot about. And it's their weak link. And I think the students had a problem with how he taught them, missed out on more than just sucking it up. And in the end, for myself, realizing that 99% of the time, Spider's really just right. And he's even right in how defensive or aggressive he is about his tech or whatever. And the times he's not really weren't even that important, like to take offense to it. Like, I've learned not to take offense to it and yet take it personal because he is speaking to you. It's a part of you that he's trying to eradicate. I don't even know if trying is the right word, but he's eradicating it from his space. And if you remain, then the part of you that remains doesn't have that problem. Doesn't have that ego problem. And until mastery is achieved, you just keep learning. So there in Vegas, the next wave of guys that just couldn't handle the heat as Spider became more protective of his tech and his reputation when you're in field, leeching off that reputation. It became those guys that couldn't handle the heat of him calling them out in various ways, especially for their mimicry. What kind of came at the tail end of some of the guys who got girlfriends and dropped out, it was right there, was the mimicry. It became obvious that myself and everybody was mimicking AZD, not because we came with the agenda to mimic, but because, man, you just, when the game is so much better and it's easy to copy it, and you've learned a sort of game where it's like, copy this line, say this then, what would you say here? Oh, you just say it there. But we were around them all the time. And so much of the game was being copied, and you had a bunch of mini-me's that were lesser versions of you trying to do this and that and just fucking shit up, fucking up reputation, all that boomerang effect. So he became very high standards of mimicry, just a huge sensitivity radar on mimicry and calling it out. Really, the evil that it comes from, it's inauthentic. You're basically a zombie if you're mimicking somebody. You're not conscious, or you're deceitful, which would be evil. But if you're not conscious, then you're just you're not a liability, not an asset. So it's either unconscious mimicry or it's conscious mimicry. And the conscious mimicry, I think they get burned off. The unconscious mimicry, depending on how personally they take things, they get burned off, or they drop the mimicry and become more authentic. And so now remains the 7 guys who see that the pursuit is authentic communication, authentic game, and then there's Spider with a women's spa of 10 girlfriends plus other girls that work for him, expanding. Everybody's running ads, talk of the town, all kinds of new clients and customers coming, and his reputation in other areas of life, such as martial arts or whatever. A lot of prestige and a lot of connections. And so the students who at one point or another were probably college dropouts or guys who had high ambitions of being an artist or a creative person in some way, and maybe made something of themselves in a normal way, but nothing outstanding. And they always had that potential in themselves. They saw that potential. They heard AZD at the time talk, and they were inspired. So they joined, and they joined, and they joined as much as they could or were willing to. And at the end of the day, he outclassed them. He outgrew them by getting connected with the most prestigious men. And then it'll be another layer and another layer. Because like I was talking to a guy today, he studied body language of CIA and all this shit. And it's like, man, that's great. That's probably the highest reference outside of Spider. But if all those guys that were in the CIA were really that good, they'd have a lot of fine bitches around them too, because they're guys too. So why wouldn't they? So if they don't, then maybe they have good interrogation body language. But how often are you in that situation? It's just the reality that every man is pursuing this, whether he admits it or not. And where are you going to learn it or not? You know, how important is it? That's why the dropouts, what they miss, what they lose out on. What does everybody lose out on? This fucking realtor, who's a married chick, just sent me a kissy heart-eyed face. Oh, wrong one. Now she says, yeah, I'm sure that's a Freudian slip right there. We shall see. We shall see. Man, she saved me one day because you remember when the bathtub got plugged and I was like overflowing? I couldn't stop it. I couldn't open it. The thing was like not stuck. It was like not turning the thing that it needed to shut off the water. So it was turning, but it wasn't catching on the inside. It was stripped. The screw was stripped or something. And the plug was something was stuck in it. It was the most odd. And I had just taken over that room, one of the master rooms, and fuck. And so I'm calling this realtor at like 10 p.m. on Friday night or something, trying to get showered before going out with Spider. And it's about to overflow this tub. And I'm about like, whoa, shit. She answers, she says to do something, it doesn't work. I basically shut off the water of the house, and long story short, we got fixed. Like, good thing she answered. Like, I don't know what would have happened. Okay. Oh, you know why? You know what's interesting, Cali Pack, why I'm talking about all these haters? Because there are haters that are so obsessed with Spider that they will rip old content from Google Drive and everywhere, and they start putting it for free or membership on YouTube. They make full-length hater videos, and Sultan and Johnny Muerter, Johnny Freedom Ranger used to call him, all these Obed, these guys go on their YouTube videos and start commenting, yeah. And so I took the privilege of connecting with one of our IMC brothers who's very good at AI, and he created a very instant thing where you just put in the email and it removes access to all content they ever purchased from AZD. Everything. So I don't have to one by one do it. They lost everything. Good. I mean, what they would use it for. And 5, 6 years ago, what AZD would have on camera with girls and girlfriends and whatever, what they're going to clip out from that. They are really warped. And so what they've gone and done, and they've made a bunch of fake emails, and they're booking up my call calendar. So I'm getting all these call bookings from all the jobs, Adam Silvers, Solto, Geo, and it's not their real emails because I know they're real emails, but it says Geo Estrada at Gmail, whatever, and they just whatever. So whoever's organizing that, it doesn't matter. I know all the names being named are collaborating with the guy because that's the only. There's no way he would know Adam Silvers. Like it's just, or it would be Sultan. It doesn't matter. That's just what dropouts do. They're obsessed. I love it. I love it. They're so overcome. They don't know how overcome they are. The men of there's so many men in the world, a lot of them better than all those guys ever will be, that are just now getting exposed to Spider. It's unreal. And it's about to be a lot more, like on levels. You will see within 4 weeks, if not less, you will see just a flood. Like if this isn't even a flood. We got all kinds of new guys coming on these streams every day. It's the beginning of the flood. It's like the Hoover Dam is breaking and water's coming out, but that shit's about to burst. But then what's going to happen downstream? Well, I got some engines in place, and these engines, they're unbreakable. They may not be able to harness all the water, but whatever they can capture, they won't be broken. It could go 1,000 miles an hour. It could be under 1,000 feet of pressure. They're unbreakable. They may not catch all the water, but they're going to catch it. And who knows what happens with the whole ecosystem as that goes up, as it powers up. Like what we did before during COVID in that wave was houses, bases, and a whole curriculum beast process. It should still continue. It's just building in steps for me. I can't do every step. So right now, building is the guys getting in tune with Spider. Spider is not AZD anymore. It's a new character. It's him at a much deeper, more authentic, more powerful level than he ever was. So guys get reintroduced and new guys get introduced. And guys that are dropouts are lost. Whatever you thought it was, it's not. It wouldn't register on your radar. If you were around it, you wouldn't sense it the same way you would have in the past. If you were around it, you would have sensed, oh, AZD's in the room. Now Spider's in the room, you wouldn't even know. You'll smell something, maybe it's good. You'll hear a girl laughing, sure. But the signature of the guy, the being, won't be on your radar. It's something way more evolved. It's like iPhone 15 to an iPhone 3. It's like Tony Stark's AI suit, a little nanobot suit versus the clunky chink suit. It's a suit that's superpowered, but it's like different, totally different level. It's actually accurate. It's not even I was going to say it's an accurate analogy. It's not even an analogy. But that's a trip. You got to see it to be real. Come to Vegas, everybody. Guys all around. DM, come to class tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's weekdays, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that's different for different guys. It's an hour-long Zoom. AZD comes in from his women's spa and just bombs. Just brings reality bombs. The value of that contrast, it's unavailable anywhere on Earth. There should be 1 million people on the stream. It's my aim. I think by tomorrow, there'll be at least 7. And I think by the next day, there'll be at least 10. And if that happens, then I think every day next week is going to be at least 10. And I could ramp it up to 15. Really, the sky's the limit. When I get it right, I think 60 to 100 guys new every day will probably be where I'm at until a whole new kind of structure has to emerge from that. But that'll be sufficient for daily growth for a month or two. And where we go from there, that's what I'm looking at. Yogi Chris PhD has entered the realm of digital marketing. And if a gear breaks down, if a wrench gets into it, I go in and I fix it. And I'm sure that'll be happening. When I say it's an unbreakable engine, I know exactly some things may break down. A little trigger, a little ban from Meta or something. I have another account, another ad. Like, we got it. And if they all came after me, then so be it. I'm a big enough enemy. That's great. I'm sure every billionaire had to handle that also. So I will also. In time, whatever's coming my way, I welcome it. Be the best. Fuck the rest. IMC Nation.